Good morning, YouTube. MMAJoe here, and we have had a question in the comment section about Nick Diaz, Robbie Lawler 2. So let's jump into it right now. Okay, first observation. I think this fight is really good for both competitors, for both Nick Diaz or Robbie Lawler. The winner of this fight will have an upward trajectory in the UFC, regardless of who it is. And I think Robbie's on a 5-streak losing skid. No. Yeah, 4? 4 or 5. Anyway, Nick, as we know, has not fought in 5 years, probably more than 5 years now. I have seen some training footage of Nick over the last 6-8 months or so. So I just never thought he really would come back to fighting, but he did, and that surprised me. But for anybody to think that Nick Diaz has been sitting out here for 5 years just hanging out, smoking pot, not training, yeah, I don't think you know the Diaz brothers very well. I did catch the interview from Robbie the other day, and you know, he has a very realistic outlook on the fight, and one thing he brought up when talking about Nick almost immediately, what he recalled from their first fight, was gas tank. Now, Robbie Lawler's gotten better at dealing with his gas tank over the years. However, Robbie has adapted himself, it looks like, to be more of fight half round, take a round off, or say fight hard the first round or two, take the third round off, and then turn it up halfway through the fourth and put the gas pedal on through the fifth. So he has learned to adjust. However, Nick Diaz, his gas pedal is down all the time, and it doesn't change. So I actually think that's still the biggest factor in this fight. Is the gas tank. So I guess the short of the long of it is, I think Nick should win this fight again. But I don't want to take anything away from Robbie Lawler. He's one of the greatest competitors we've ever seen at 170. I don't care how you slice it. So getting back to it, excuse me, let me close that low battery message. Oh, there's a hummingbird. Getting back to it, Robbie and Nick, they're two of the greatest welterweights there's ever been, in my opinion. And Robbie still has a lot of ways to win this fight. Let's talk about the punching power for a second. The differences in the two punching styles. Every shot Robbie Lawler throws is going to be a heavy shot. It's going to be meant to inflict damage. And he can still do this very well. I mean, I think his last great beating was Rory McDonald. I mean, he tore that dude apart. Like, so every punch this guy throws, I mean, it is damage. We know Nick cuts. So that could be a factor as well. Like, this fight could be stopped. Let's talk about Nick's punching. Nick does this beautiful technique that no one has really picked up on over the last 20 years. And his brother does a little bit of it, but Nick is really good at it. And it's he throws change-ups. He changes his speed up with his punching. Now, when he comes in, his punching is a solid, steady pace. But then he'll back down and he'll throw even slower punches that take longer to get to the opponent. That confuses the opponent. And then when Nick decides to juice it up, when he thinks it's time to turn on the heat and throw multiple combinations and really go for that finish, the speed kicks up. So Nick does this wonderful, incredible technique of changing the speed up on his punches, and it really confuses his opponents. Nobody else is really doing that. Also, in the footage I have seen of Nick Diaz just messing around, sparring, whatever, he's doing a lot of dirty boxing, clinch boxing, and a lot of knees to the inside. So we know Nick's ground game has gone nowhere. Probably one of the greatest in the world, hands down. It's the stand-up game that every competitor has to worry about with Diaz. So when you take into the account the gas tank, that beats 80-90% of competitors in front of him right there, the gas tank. And then you throw in the crazy change of pace striking techniques that Nick Diaz implements, as well as his incredible ground game, his great scrambling ability, his ability to sweep. I mean, the guy, technically you can say, there's some little gaps. His punches aren't the prettiest, his angles aren't the prettiest, his footwork isn't the best. Having said that, his striking, still some of the best in professional combat sports. So, just to wrap a bow on this, who do I think is going to win? I think Nick Diaz is going to win this fight. Now, I'm not sure if it's a 3 or 5 round fight. I think it's a 5. Nick Diaz is winning this fight. Unless, cut, doctor stoppage. Yeah, that's the only way I see this going down. Per usual, I could be wrong though. Sometimes my crystal ball doesn't work too well. But it is a Saturday morning. It's the weekend. I hope all of you out there have a lovely weekend and enjoy it. Yeah, so if you have any questions or comments, as always, they are greatly appreciated and only help the community grow and get stronger. So, questions or comments, good, bad, or indifferent, please put them below. Yep, we're at the end now. As always, thank you for listening. Be good. Be safe.